What is going on, everybody? Today we are going to ask a few questions to the one and only Trevor Young. Hey, Trevor.
Yo, what's happening, Claire? Thank you for having me on here. I really appreciate it. This is going to be fun. Let's go.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in the music industry? Were you drawn to music and instruments as a child? Were you in any bands growing up? Tell us a little bit more about how you got started.
So yeah, when I was younger, my dad and mom were really into music, and my dad came home with a black electric guitar, like a Stratocaster copy, kind of like what Eric Clapton would use. And he brought it home and he started taking lessons, but when he would be at work, I would open the case, plug it in, mess with it, and my thoughts were, I heard him hacking at it like I can be better than this guy. But from there, I did some band, jazz band in school, and I like spent a lot of time once I got into guitar, hanging out at the music shop, skipping school, and eventually the owner of the business, Dave Herring, great friend of mine, was like, if this kid's gonna be here anyway, I might as well give him a job. And I started working for him, and the skills I learned with him are what I took into working with SOJA. But before then, I had a bunch of different bands. I won't go into the band names. Some of the band names are pretty bad. But was always into music and wanted to do it so bad that I approached it from different angles. So I would teach music lessons, I would play cover acoustic gigs, and I would play with my original band. And then that led me to work for SOJA and get where I've gotten today.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit more about the bands that you are in, including the one that you helped form? Can you tell us a little bit more about how you went from guitar technician to lead guitar in SOJA?
Yeah, okay, so I'm in a couple bands currently. The big one being SOJA, which I've been in for about 15 years, and then the new one, Algorhythm. I'm still in both bands and balance that to my best ability. But yeah, so SOJA, I started as a guitar tech, and it was funny. My band had moved to Austin, Texas right before that, and everything we failed. So I had moved back home to Delaware, and SOJA was playing, and I had played with them at some events prior, so I kind of knew them a tiny bit. But I was able to find Jake before this show at Secrets in Ocean City, Maryland, and I asked him, yo, who changes your guitar strings? He said he did, and I offered up my services. I worked for them for about a year, building myself through the ranks of guitar tech to stage manager to monitor engineer. And they had a new record called Strength to Survive coming out, and they used John Alasia, this producer, to make the record, and he added a lot of guitar stuff. And at the time, the only guitar player in the band was Jake. So Jake told me I would be in charge of auditioning the new guitar players. He knew I played guitar and took it really serious. He was kind of just messing with me though, as he was basically being like, wink, wink, I need you to interview people, but really he didn't. He just gave me the record and I learned all the songs, and from there, we went to Costa Rica to do a show and my first rehearsal with the band. Algorhythm was formed from, at the time, SOJA's tour manager, my boy Brandon. He has worked with a bunch of different bands through his career, and he wanted to make a group, one member from each one of the bands he's like kind of grew up working with, and he put together his like dream team, and I was lucky enough to be a part of it. It also has Kyle Wareham from Three-Legged Fox, and our boy Kev Officer who plays drums for Stick Figure, which is an incredible band. And we were just we got it together to do a party in Florida after this festival called Reggae Rise Up. And at the first rehearsal, we just started writing songs, and it's kind of taken me to where we are with it now. So here we are. Couple years later, and we've put out 2 full-length records, 3 EPs, some covers, like in a crazy short amount of time. So it's been a fun ride.
tell us what your most favorite thing is about being on the road, and then also what your least favorite thing about being on the road is. I know your family also travels with you, so can you tell us about that a little bit more? Do they enjoy being on the road with you?
So obviously the thing I enjoy the least about being on the road is being away from my family. They do not always get to travel with me. On occasion they do, and that's really special. It's really special for my daughter to be on stage and see what daddy does for a living, because I think sometimes when we're all at home, she thinks I do nothing for a living. I don't know. So that's an amazing part of when they do get to come and see some of the really big shows. My favorite thing to do on the road, I'm really blessed that I get to go to these places where, as I get older, my friends from growing up have branched out and moved to all these different cities. So when I go somewhere like San Diego, I get to see friends I haven't seen in a while, from college and high school and growing up. So that's probably my favorite part, get to see some buddies once or twice a year that I haven't seen in a while, sometimes longer. Sometimes we find a cool dive bar and just hang out.
All right, so I am from Louisiana, and that means I have a food obsession. So tell us, what country or state has the best food?
Best food. Okay, this is kind of an easy one. The band SOJA is from Washington D.C., and I know you're gonna say, "What? Washington D.C.? You're not to go there?" But because there's so many different cultures meeting there, there's everything. Off the top of my head, I can think of a couple of my favorite places to eat, and they're in Northern Virginia, D.C. area. Crisp and juicy Peruvian chicken. Oh man, come on, it's the best. I'm telling you, might sound wild, but DC area. I mean, it's the point where a lot of people enter the country. It's the point where a lot of people will stay when they're coming to this country. So it's kind of like New York City. New York City has everything, so you can get whatever you want. So yeah, DC, maybe New York City as a close second. They got the delis and the good pizza.
So, can you tell all of us normies what it is like to be a Grammy Award winning artist?
So being a Grammy award-winning artist just kind of it just kind of backs up the fact that you take it really serious. I mean, it's a wonderful honor, and it definitely helps when trying to book shows, and I think it just kind of just proves that you're very serious about it. You take the craft very serious, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I got a gold. Actually, it's not even gold. The Grammy is Gramanium, I think it's called. Statue downstairs in my house. So that's pretty cool. And people come over and see it and want to take shots out of it sometimes. Then I oblige. So it's pretty cool. Hopefully they don't get mad that I do that.
If you could teach the entire world just one thing through your music, what would that be?
Okay, this is a tough one. If I could teach the world one thing from our music, I think it would have to be have something to do with love, loving themselves, and loving each other. I think that's like one of the most common themes of music that we end up going back to. Sometimes we try to not write songs like that just because we want to like make an album that's like got a good balance of tones and subject matter. But love, loving each other, loving yourself is, I think, by far the one thing that we end up going back to, and I think it's probably has the most important meaning, kind of a universal meaning.
Are there any tours or shows coming up with your bands? And also, I know Algorhythm has a new album out, so how can everyone find your music?
So there is a couple of tours or big shows coming up the remainder of this year. We have July 17th, Algorhythm is going to be in Baltimore, and then we're cruising to Iceland to make our third EP this year of a project called Surroundings. We already did Jamaica, and we did Key West, or the Keys. And then after that, we're coming back, we're hitting some spots in the Northeast, like Boston and Rhode Island. And then I come home for one day, and SOJA has their album release party August 1st at National Stadium in Washington, D.C., which is a really cool venue. We got some great friends performing on the bill with us. And then there's some sporadic ones throughout the year. And we're going to do a cruise with Sublime in October or November. And then both bands are going to be at this amazing festival called Closer to the Sun in January, put on by our friends Slightly Stupid. All the music that we make you can find on all of the streaming platforms. So Apple, Spotify, you name it, it's there. So check it out.
Dude, you are so badass. You even have a day dedicated to you in Delaware. Can you tell us a little bit more about Trevor Young Day?
Trevor Young Day, yes, of course. My hometown, I grew up in a small town called Seaford, Delaware. The mayor, I've known for a pretty long time. His name is Matt McCoy. He's a great guy. And something he wanted to do during office is create a day to celebrate my accomplishments and I guess the impact I've had in that area. So once a year, on June 20th, I make it a point to get back there and throw a concert. We just got done with our second annual one, and it went really, really, really well. I want to build it up every year, make it bigger and better, involve my friends to play some music with me, and just do a community event for the town because I loved growing up there and it made me who I am today.
And last but not least, what is your favorite thing to do to unwind once you get home from being on the road?
Favorite thing to do when I'm off the road? I don't know if it's my favorite thing to do, but it's just something I have to do, and that is get back to like the norm of being at home. I like the balance of going out and coming home, but it's definitely an adjustment, and there's things I have to do when I'm home that are just like normal things, like cut grass and chase my 2-year-old around. And it's just like, it's definitely not always fun getting back to that normal. It can be tough sometimes, but it's so critical. And then once it's, feel back to normal, it just gets like easy again. And I like when it's easy and everything's chill. And then once that happens, I can kind of get back into a songwriting mode or a production mode where I'm in my studio where I'm at right now, and I can work and just feels like normal again. So my favorite part is getting back to normal. Solid.
Trevor, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend it with us and to let us know a little bit more about you. And as always, thank you to the Young family for allowing me the chance and the opportunity to work with you year after year. You have no idea how much that means to me. So thank you.